Good evening, everyone. So, Gothtober is almost here. October is almost here. Inktober is almost here. Every year, October is my busiest month because I always do Inktober, I always do readathons, and I just love October so much and all the autumny things that I can do so that I just plan it chock full and then I don't have the time to do anything and then I'm upset. But this year, I'm doing Gothtober again. Last year I did it and it was amazing. Olivia's Catastrophe is hosting it with two of her friends whose channel names I don't remember. I'm gonna put them right here and I'm gonna put them in the description, of course. We need to do a little mini game that they created just like last year to determine my TBR. And tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, I'm also going to a new bookshop that opened here in the city to maybe pick up some spooky books for Gothtober as well. But I already know a couple of books from my existing TBR that I really want to read during this readathon. Now let's go to the mini game and do it and then compile the TBR. All right, let's go. Run game. I think the game's gonna need a password. No, it's just loading up. Okay. I'm so excited. Creature feature. Start. Okay, where is your lair? Swamp, the morgue, Dracula's castle. This is a tough one. Definitely not the morgue, but I cannot choose between the swamp and Dracula's castle because swampy things are very much my jam. Do I look like a swamp witch? Let's choose Dracula's castle though, because castle's really cool to me. Head. Oh, I'm compiling my creature. I'm creating my creature. Head is creature from the Black Lagoon, Mothman or headless? Mothman. Right arm is robot arm, tentacle or werewolf claw? Robot arm. Love a robot arm. Left arm, webbed fingers, hook hand, ghostly arm. Ghostly arm. Okay. Legs, snake body, body innards, bird feet. Oh, snake body. Got a snake right here. Snake body all the way. Above head, horns, twig headdress, or angel eye mask. My creature already looks pretty weird. I'm gonna need to draw my creature as well. Horns. Horns can be anything. There can be any type of horns. Back item. Kagune, bat wings, or demon whip or tail. What's Kagune? Let's Google it. Oh, I see. Kagune is from Tokyo Ghoul. Bat wings. I think I'm gonna take bat wings. Okay, creature feature TBR. BIPOC rep, disability rep, LGBTQ rep, sentient house, couldn't read that word for some reason, insects, empowerment, book that haunts you, unreliable narrator, smut or spice, and fairy tale retelling. There's so many interesting ones. Let's switch the camera. All right, well, that is a very interesting prompt list. I'm gonna need to do some research to find the books that will go into representation for all of these things and look through my physical TBR and then I'll be right back here. Okay, I've got a pile and I'm gonna buy more books, I think, because I'm missing a few for a couple of prompts. I'm gonna look up some audiobooks as well. Maybe I'll be able to get some of those. I'm already scared. How am I gonna finish all of these in October? I have no idea. With my new job, streaming, making videos for 2 channels, and just being a girlfriend and a dog mom and a person, I love this. Okay, BIPOC rep. I've got the first tome of Saga for BIPOC rep and one here on the very bottom of the pile. It's not a horror novel though, it's a literary novel. The Death of Vivek OG. I wanted to read this for a while and it's not long. It's only 248 pages, so I'm gonna be able to read this pretty quickly. It's not horror, but there's a horrific thing happening. So I think that maybe this will go well with the readathon. Next, disability rep. For that, I'm going to read Disfigured on Fairy Tale Disability and Making Space by Amanda Leduc. I wanted to read this last year for Gothtober, but it didn't arrive on time. It arrived 2 months after the readathon. And I held on to it all of this time, specifically for this readathon, and I completely forgot about it. And then I was looking at the list and I thought, oh, Disfigured, I have that. So yeah, this is for disability. Then we have LGBTQ plus rep. Where's the book? Ah, here it is. We've got Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Weir. I wanted to read this again last year for Gothtober, but it didn't arrive on time. and then I held on to it for a year, not reading it. I think because I wanted to read it on Gothtober again, or I'm just an idiot, I don't know. Next, Sentient House. For Sentient House, I'm going to read Slade House by David Mitchell. I know that this is a companion novel to the Cloud Atlas that I think the Bone Clocks, not the Cloud Atlas. I have the Bone Clocks over there, but I'm going to read this first anyway. I don't think you need to read them in order, so I'm going to read this one, and it's pretty short as well. It's 250 pages. Next, Insects. I don't have anything with insects. And, okay, I don't think I'm gonna specifically seek out a book about insects, because while I'm not afraid of insects, I am terrified of caterpillars and the things with many legs, like caterpillar-like things. So I think that a book about insects, a horror about insects, might really mess me up. So I'm going to, I think, forego that one, and I hope that you guys will forgive me. Next, Empowerment. For Empowerment, I'm going to read a funny thriller, The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Somehow I did not connect the name Richard Osman with this guy. I love this guy. I've seen him on QI so many times. He's hilarious. This is about octogenarians solving murders, and I think that's pretty empowering, because I feel like the older we get, we lose our weight in society and nobody sees us as real people anymore. I've seen that so many times. So I think it's very important to empower older people as well, and for us as a society to learn the fact that as we get older, we don't lose our value. So yes, this one for empowerment. Next, Book That Haunts You. For that, I'm going to read Gooooo by Dacre Stoger and J.D. Barker. This book haunts me because back like 5 years ago, when I worked in a bookshop, I saw it for the first time. It came into our bookshop and I was obsessed with it. I wanted it so badly, but it was really expensive, and still the price here, it was pretty expensive. But I wanted it so much, and then one day I got it a few years after I first saw it, but I kept thinking about it all this time. I wanted to read it for so many readathons. I almost got it for a couple of buddy reads, and I've never done it. And I almost chose it for a few readathons as well, and I just never picked it up. So I'm finally going to read this. Next, Unreliable Narrator. For that, I think I'm going to read The Woman in Black by Susan Hale. I'm so glad that I got it. I only got it recently. It's a secondhand book, and I wanted to read this for years and years. I'm probably never gonna watch the movie because I think it's too scary for me. I'm not sure if this is an unreliable narrator specifically, but it sounds to me like that. A young solicitor comes to the funeral in the house of this woman who lived alone, who died. And there's this mysterious gaunt woman in black at the funeral who nobody wants to talk about. And he starts to experience weird things in the house. And I feel like that can lead to an unreliable narration situation. So I'm going to read that one. And next we have Smut or Spice and Fairy Tale Retelling. For both of those, to be quite honest with you, I have no idea what I'm going to read. I don't read Smut or Spice. And Fairy Tale Retelling, the ones that I have read, I haven't enjoyed that much. I have a couple of Shakespeare retellings, but that doesn't count. I'm gonna look at the shop, maybe I'll see something, and maybe I'll pick up some dark monster romance. I could read a monster romance, right? I've never read a monster romance. I've never read a romance, like, period. No, that's not true. I have read a couple of romances. And I guess I haven't read any more because I just didn't like them. But I will pick up a monster romance. I'll get something on Kindle. And Fairy Tale Retelling, I'll look into that as well. I have 2 more books here that don't particularly fall into any prompts, but that I want to read anyway. And you can tell me if you know that they actually fall into some of the prompts on my list. The first one is The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. I feel like I wanted to read this last year for Gothtober as well, but didn't. I want to read it so badly because I loved The Seven Deaths of Ellen Hardcastle, and this sounds right up my alley. A mystery, murder mystery happening on a ship in the open sea. Yes. And the next one is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This could also fall into a book that haunts me because this was one of the first books that I've ever heard about on BookTube, and I wanted to read it since then. And I've been lurking on BookTube, watching it religiously for like 7 years now. So this book has been on my radar, on my TBR for a while, and I've only been able to acquire it a month ago. It's a secondhand book as well. So I think that I'm going to read this one as well. If you know of any of my prompts that fall under any of these books, or you have any recommendations for Smut or Spice, Fairy Tale Retelling, or Insects, please let me know. And thank you so much for being here. If you're participating in Gothtober, please link me your Instagram or your YouTube channel so that I can watch your progress as well. Thank you so much for hosting, to Olivia and her lovely co-hosts whose names I can't remember. I'm really sorry. Here they are. I can't wait to start. I forgot to mention, just like last year, I'm going to be doing Inktober again, and I'm going to combine it with my Gothtober vlogs, so you'll see some art as well. Okay, another quick update. I chose two more books. For fairy tale retellings, I'm going to read Thorn by Intisar Kanani. This is a retelling of The Goose Girl. I'm getting an audiobook. And for the Smut Spies, I'm going to read Radiance by Grace Draven. I'm getting a Kindle edition or an audiobook as well. I'm not sure yet. But that's it. That's my TBR done. And I am going to the bookshop in a couple of days. And I might get more books. My TBR might grow. But if it does, I'll talk to you about it in the upcoming vlogs. Now this is the end of the video. Bye bye.